today. From Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, this is the National Football League.
The veteran kicker Mason Crosby set to do the honors here. And off we go from Tampa. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Working from the gun, it's Brady. He gets this one to Johnson. Well, he'll be out of bounds right at the 40.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Showing off the quick feet that time and getting forward for a pickup of 3 yards. On 2nd and 7, Brady. Complete. It's Johnson. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. So into Packer territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Brady. Again, it's Johnson. 7 yards, the pickup there.
Well, I know from past experience, before you actually play a game, you visualize what's going to happen. And I don't know anyone who doesn't visualize themselves being in the center of what's going on. That's 3 catches for him here in the early going. He's got to like the way this is started.
Absolutely. 3 catches on any drive is good. Opening drive, that's a tone setter. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw it for a loss.
And he gets it down a yard or 2 shy of the 30 before he's out of bounds.
I like the screen being called here early in the game, especially on the opening drive because, Brandon, when guys come out of the locker room, especially as pass rushers, they are so amped up to get to the quarterback that you can use that against them, and a screen pass is a great way of doing it. A lot of teams against good pass rushing teams, they want to run the screen 10 to 12 times in a game.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. Shotgun now for Brady. He's going to go up top for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jair Alexander. And the Packers are going to get the football here as they force the INT on the game's opening drive. Rodgers will bring the Pack up with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. And he'll wind up losing yardage here back at the 21-yard line. So a loss of 5, and it'll be 2nd down. We're scoreless after 1. Here's Jones again on 2nd down. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. The Bucs with an extra defender now in the secondary here on 3rd down. To throw is Rodgers. Staying on his feet. That is caught. It's the tight end, Tunyon. And they do finally get him, but he takes it to the 25. It's a big play there for Green Bay. And a reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll check in with our Jonathan Coachman. He'll have highlights and analysis of the first half, and our highlights will likely be on the defensive side of the football here. Scoreless game. Toward the back corner of the end zone, but he could not get the feet down. This will wind up incomplete. Devontae Adams, the intended receiver, but it's going to be 2nd down. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty, but when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Eluding the pressure right. And it's a leaping effort, but it's knocked away and incomplete.
That was well played, but that was also an example of a corner who understands his coverage, realized he had support behind him, and could be a little more aggressive in the shorter zone, and did exactly that, knocking that pass away.
So they wind up turning the turnover into points as they convert there for 3.
Yeah, that was a nice job there to force the fumble. They recover, hand things over to their offense, and then the offense went down and got them 3. That alone, that's not enough to win a game, but both units able to do their jobs on these last 2 drives.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
Brady's throw on target to Godwin here. And out across midfield down to the 45.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the quarterback a really nice target. I believe I'm following their logic. Take the big shot downfield, loosen things up. You're hoping to get some points on the board before the half. Maybe now you come back and throw some underneath stuff in order to make sure you get a completion.
9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. The Bucs going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Brady to throw again. This is caught by Evans. And he's out of bounds. Almost gets to the 10.
That's a big gainer on that play, and from experience, I can tell you, that's where defensive backs will come into the huddle and say, guys, how about some pass rush? But you're going to say it nicely because those big guys up front, they don't like being criticized very much. Quarterbacks in this league, you know they'll pick you apart if you give them time like that to find receivers downfield.
The Bucs forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. From the 5, 2nd and 4. Throwing now is Brady. Flushed out right. Toward the pylon, caught. And he takes this down to about the 2 before going out of bounds. And I put my first tally mark next to the Brady to Gronk counter here.
I think it may be the first of many because once they get going, look out, things tend to snowball. Tom Brady trusts Gronk as much as any receiver I think he's thrown to in his career. And
Evans hauls it in. Touchdown, Bucs. Mike Evans in the final seconds of the first half. And the Bucs have taken the lead. Extra point up and good by Suckup. And that makes it a 7-3 lead. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And it ends with a touchdown for the Bucs. So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Final shot before half for Rodgers. Man open, that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And he's brought down after a very nice gain. So much for our halftime break. Apparently we're going to get right back to it. The Packers set to get the football first, and they are trailing on the scoreboard as we resume action, ready for the third quarter. Rodgers going to return it from his end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21. The Packers ready to go to start quarter number 3. It's been a tight game to this point. What do they need to do, Charles, to break through in the second half and take the lead?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is thank their defense for keeping them in this game. I think the defense is saying back to them, why don't you guys focus on getting some first downs, put some drives together, give us a little bit of a break here. If we can get some rest, we'll play even better for you. And, oh, by the way, pay off a few of those drives with some points, too.
Pretty explosive run on that inside handoff, and when you're a runner of his caliber, you don't need a big crease.
You really don't, but also what we're seeing is an offensive line that's taking charge at the point of attack, aren't we? Not only are they controlling the initial contact, they're actually utilizing what they call the strain, the next 2 to 3 seconds, to continue to move people.
Here's Rodgers to throw. Oh, trying to get that to Adams, but that's intercepted. Picked off at the 24. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line. Brady going to bring the Bucs up with a 1st and 10 right at the 30. The drive starts with a handoff to Bernard. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
They did a really nice job there defensively. They strung the play out, didn't give him a cutback lane. On each play, you have guys what I call our BCR players. Guys are responsible for the bootleg, for the cutback, and for the reverse. They played that one perfectly.
And rode him right out of bounds. Yeah, he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. On first down, Brady. He'll rifle this one deep right side. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Darnell Savage. And the Packers are going to get the football here as he gets this up past the 20-yard line. So after the INT, it's Rodgers. That ball is caught. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. It was JPP that time, Jason Pierre-Paul, who got in there to blow that play up. 2nd down, another shot for Jones. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Open man left side, it's the tight end Tunyon. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and we'll watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Rodgers. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Shaquille Barrett. What a play by him. That's going to go as a loss of 13.
Like the footwork back there, I thought he did a pretty good job of evading that first wave of players. Tried to buy a little extra time out of the pocket, but in the end, oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, winds up getting buried for the loss. So it's Packer football here as we welcome you back. They face a critical third down now, needing a score here in the late going. He's going to let it fly. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up fourth down.
We've seen that the deep ball's been a part of their game plan all afternoon, but they've had trouble hooking up on it, unable to successfully find the end zone over the top.
Down 4 late, got to go for it here on fourth down. Now Rodgers, got to have this one. He's got his man, Valdez-Scantling. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Felt compelled to go for it there on fourth down, trailing in the fourth quarter. They got it done.
And there's always a lot of pressure on a fourth down call. Doesn't matter the distance. You still have to get it done, as you noted, and they did.
To throw is Rodgers. A check down here to Jones. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30.
That completion helps out in a nice way. Now they can take a little bit more time, but guess what? They've got to make sure on their throws that they see it open, not just anticipate it.
Escaping the pressure right. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Well, there you go. Save your best scramble of the day for a big-time situation in the fourth quarter, picking up the first.
You don't want to use it up early, right? You want to make sure you save it for that exact moment, that key time, and that's what he did, although you and I both know it wasn't planned that way. But what a nice job using his eyes, scanning the field, and realizing when it was time to exit the pocket and go.
And a good gain here of 9 from the 19 down to the 10. Now the Bucs going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Ball resting on the 10-yard line. It's 2nd and 1. Back to throw. Rodgers. And that'll be incomplete. Well, these corners, I tell you, they've done excellent work all game long.
They remind me of guys in the past who just said, hey, throw it out here 100 times, nothing good is going to happen. And if you throw it in the wrong place, I'll take it the other way.
They'll try and run for it with Jones. The Bucs going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this fourth quarter of play. Only way to get the lead here, of course, with a touchdown, and that's what they're gunning for on 1st and goal. Now Rodgers. I'm not sure he saw the linebacker there as that's batted down and incomplete.
That's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Sean Murphy-Bunting. And the Bucs have just about sewn up this football game. Just when you thought this game might be turned on its ear, a late interception pretty much going to seal the deal.
Yeah, boy, talk about having your backs to the wall. This defense, they look like they were in danger of surrendering this lead, but they knew they needed that one play, and they got it right there, partner.
And he'll be out of bounds up past the 10-yard line. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
I know that every now and then we get in those meetings with coaches, and you almost want to roll your eyes when they talk about staying on schedule when they're moving the football. But would you say a 7-yard run is ahead of schedule?
Fourth quarter with the lead, you love that, don't you?
No doubt about it, because staying on schedule is trying to get 4 downs on 1st down. They did that plus 3.
On 1st down, Bernard. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. Jair Alexander up to make the tackle. Well, Charles, the old saying, the old cliche, if you will, points at a premium, that certainly applied here, didn't it?
And that almost like opened up a time capsule, didn't it? Old school football, low scoring, close game.